Oh, Amanda, welcome to the Rose Theatre.
Thank you very much.
So tell me about this upcoming CD of yours. Tell me maybe a story, one of your fondest memories of making it.
Oh, wow. Well, there are lots of stories. I guess one of the experiences that I had was trying to get all of the baby stuff that I had to bring with to the studio and pile it into the car with my husband. And like I said on stage, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to actually even make it to the studio because there's so much stuff just with diapers and wipes and all the paraphernalia, and then all the little, not rugs, but the little mats that he has to, you have to change him from he gets bored, so you have to put him in the little cradle and then to the one mat and then to the other mat. So we had all the musicians come in to the green room and it looked like a little nursery school. But it was fun, and then I had to hold him during a lot of the rehearsal part of it, and then have someone else hold him during the vocals, but yeah.
So was that inspiring in a way as well? Do you think it added more to the recording?
I think so, because for me, making music is such a personal thing, and it's really important to me that there's that connection on stage when we're performing live, that we're not just faking it, that we actually are really good friends. And I think in making the album, there was that family vibe. You know, all of the guest musicians that came in said, oh, this is a really nice family vibe. You know, it was very casual, maybe not like some other recording sessions, but we enjoyed it.
So what do you think you're most proud of about this CD? Amor, it's called, right?
Yes.
Amor.
Amor, exactamente. I'm most proud of the fact that we finished it. Because it's sort of a daunting task. I mean, it was a daunting task to begin my first one, and you know, you always are the most critical person of your own work, I think. And I guess I'm most proud of the fact that I could choose the songs and let it go, and I think capture a lot of the feeling that I have when I'm with the band and performing live. I think we got that on, I hope, in the studio as well.
And when's it coming out?
It's coming out in the fall.
Okay. Okay, I think you're going to have a lot of people buying it.
I hope so.
So let's go back a bit and go to your childhood and tell me, what are some of your fondest memories from all the trips you took to Cuba and Mexico?
Well, my fondest memories would be whenever we'd go down to Mexico, I'd get to see my cousins, and we just would have so much fun dressing up, doing fashion shows. I have 3 sister cousins, and their mom and dad are here tonight, my aunts and uncle.
Oh.
And we always would have fun, like putting together little shows as well for the parents.
Yeah.
And the other thing was listening to my cousin Danny, who's an amazing songwriter. He actually doesn't perform necessarily professionally, but it's something that's in his blood. And he was always the center of our gatherings, playing a lot of his original music. And I think he really inspired me, because I was quite shy growing up. I didn't like performing in front of small, intimate groups, but for some reason, I like doing the stage.
Yeah. Now, do you still take ballet, or?
Sadly, I don't, but it's something that I would love to get back into doing.
Yeah.
Dancing is something that I think is so good for the soul.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
yeah, and I wish I did it more, actually. And
Yeah.
I've got to get back into doing it.
Good,
Yeah.
good. That's great. Now, tell me about, with the ballet, yeah, you said you miss it. Now, tell me about, I have a story here from the audience about your dad and your uncle cycling from Mexico to Canada.
Yes.
Now, tell me about that story. Why would they have stopped in the States? What was that all about?
Well, I should get them to answer that directly. They're right there. What was the reason that you
That's
stopped?
one of the most amazing stories I've ever heard.
Well, I'm actually excited to tell you something. That my Tio Arturo, his daughter, and my cousin Andrea is a filmmaker, and she just came out with her first feature film. And the next project that she's working on is a documentary of the actual trip. And so we're going to be filming that this summer. And that will be hopefully coming out soon as well. So you can actually hear firsthand their story.
Wow. That's amazing. Now you actually have a Bachelor of Science degree and a Master's in International Business, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I think you're a very disciplined person. But you basically, tell me about the story at First Canadian Place. You went outside, you saw a concert, and you went...
Well, I was I was working up on the 19th floor in the Royal Trust building, and there were always these lunchtime concerts. They still have them, actually. And I was really stressed out because I always felt like I was, trying to keep up with my work, and I wouldn't take my lunch breaks because I was just really stressed out. And one day I decided, okay, I have to get out of the office. And I came downstairs and I heard Amy Skye performing with her daughter, that beautiful song, I Will Take Care of You. And I just got so emotional, I guess, because I realized that feeling of, she was just in this very bohemian dress or skirt. And I was in my suit, and I just thought, oh my God, what am I, is this going to be the rest of my life? Am I going to just be in a suit and never really have that feeling of being on stage? Like, she just looked so free. And I went up and I talked to her and I said, what would your advice be for someone that wants to sing? And she said, well, I can give you the name of my singing teacher. So I called her like a year later.
Wow.
And yeah, but it was like one of those moments that I can remember where I really felt like, okay, this is something I want to do, and it's not going to ever leave my body. Like, I keep trying to ignore it, but yeah.
Actually, Amy Skye and Mark Jordan were here. They performed, and I interviewed them as well.
Really?
Yeah. So they're great. Now, do you ever feel that you had a moment where you were in the right place at the right time?
Well, you know what? There's all these serendipitous moments. Sometimes you think, oh, what am I doing this for? And then later down the line you realize, oh, well, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have met that person and I wouldn't have be here. And one moment that came to mind was I had got a call. I did some acting and I got a call from my agent to audition to be the Lotto Girl. And I said, okay, sure. And I did it, and I ended up doing that for 2 years. And we used to film it in the studio for Bravo. And then when that finished, I was hosting Cafe Latino. And then they heard through CBC that my music was coming out. My album was coming out, and someone that knew me that I was friends with just from seeing them in Bravo said, we'd love to do a story on you. And I think that I was in the right place there, because maybe they wouldn't have connected with me necessarily, but that profile, I think, really helped launch my career in Toronto and getting people to know my music.
What do you think you're most proud of about Cafe Latino? Your work on that? I know there are a lot of fans here.
I guess for me, being able to showcase the Canadian talent that we have. There's so many amazing musicians that we have in the country, and getting people excited, getting people that hadn't really been that aware of that style of music, being able to say to me, oh, we know you got us hooked on that. To me, that makes me feel proud.
How many people have heard Amanda tonight for the first time? See, I think you've made some more new fans here. Now tell me, how important is it for you to collaborate with other artists? Because I know you've worked with Jesse Cook and obviously Kevin Liberté and Sultans of String, right? And you were talking all through your show about, collaborating with all the artists on stage. So is that a big part of what you like doing? And does that make you grow as an artist? Just